here on the front row. Come on up. Come on up, because we've got a good number today, and I'm glad you're here. Good. What a nice-looking group of people. Smart group, too. Our kids in the Presbyterian Church are really smart. How are you? Are you doing okay? I see you are. Great, great. All right, so I'm going to show you a word on the screen. I want you to look at that word. What's that word? Wilderness. But what word do you see inside that word? There's another. What's that? Wild. Exactly, wild. What does wild mean? Go ahead. Go ahead. Like the woods. Very good. The woods is an example of the wild. An animal that's not tame. Very good. Very good. Let me show you some things we would find if we went out into the wilderness that we might run into. Let me show you one. What's that? Mountain lion. Now, if you're at home and you see that in your backyard, it's pretty cool, right? But if you're on a path in the wilderness and you see him up there looking at you, how does that go? Bad, right? That's not a good thing because you're in the wilderness. And it's a dangerous place. The wilderness can be very dangerous. Let me show you something else about the wilderness. What is that? A path. You don't find highways in the wilderness, do you? No, no. Or roads or streets. They're paths. Where do you think that path is going? Where? Where? To the jungle, to the rainforest? Yes, it could be. Well, it looks like it looked like rainforest, didn't it? What's that? A certain part of it. Good. But looking at when you looked at that path, do you really know where it's going? You can go out into the wilderness because it's wild, and you can follow a path, and it suddenly stops, and you're going. Well, if you get off the path, what did you say? If you have a compass, great. That's a great thing to say. If you get off the path and you have a compass and you know how to use it, you've got to know how to use it. If you don't know how to use it, you're just going to be wandering around with the compass. If you know how to use it, you can find your way back the way you came. But you can people get lost in the wilderness all the time. And it's not hard to do. You can just wander off a path in the deep, deep woods, wander off a path and turn around and go, where am I? Because it's disorienting, okay? So sometimes if we're going into the wilderness, especially a very wild place that's away from all kinds of people, we need help. Let me show you some help. What's that person in front? Who is that? What would you call him? A guide, exactly. Have you ever had a guide before? Have you ever had a guide? Yes. Well, what the guide does, first of all, the guide shows us which way to go, right? The guide shows us. And the guide walks with us. How would you feel if you were walking through the woods with a guide and a guide was guiding you? How would that make you feel? Safe. Exactly. You would feel safe. You wouldn't be afraid, would you, to walk through the wilderness? You know, we go into the wilderness all the time. Not the wilderness of woods. We can go into a wilderness of anger. We can go into a wilderness of pain. We can go into wilderness places where things are bad for our lives, right? But we don't have to worry because we have a guide. Who's that walking with the sheep? It's kind of hard to see. The Lord, exactly. That's Christ leading the sheep, and the sheep always represents the people who believe in him and the world, leading the sheep on the path through the wilderness. Christ is our guide, and not just a guide to help us find our way when we're lost, but a guide to tell us which way to go, a guide to say, here's the way to get home. Here's the path you want to follow. Isn't that a wonderful thing? Christ is our guide, and we always have that guide with us. We can always feel safe when we know the Lord's with us, even in bad times. Let's bow our heads and pray, and I invite you to pray after me if you wish. Lord, you are our guide, and our friend. You are always with us. So as we leave here, go with us again, that we may never be lost in the wilderness. Amen. Thank you.